Looks like Warner Brothers is about to have another bad box office weekend. Wonka came out Thursday, and it's not doing very well. It's doing good with audiences and critics. Both seem to enjoy the movie, which, by the way, is a musical, in case you didn't know. I guess there's a bunch of songs in this movie. Just going off of the trailer, I had no idea it was a musical. And that might be working against it. Musicals aren't mainstream movies. The last mainstream musical I remember really doing well was Les Mis. I think that did pretty good, but a lot of that might have to do with Hugh Jackman being in it. But that's a different conversation. Wonka, not doing so well. Wonka bombing at box office needs legs. Audiences have been burned too many times and are now a lot more picky. I agree with that 100%. I think because movies have been so bad that people are now waiting for a friend or a reviewer that they actually trust to say something about it. And the problem that a lot of these Hollywood studios have is that the people that are actually trusted by the masses don't get inside access. So, when reviews come out and they're like, oh my God, this is so amazing, like the IGN reviewer who called The Marvels a triumph. A lot of people just roll their eyes at that shit and don't buy it. They wait for somebody they trust, like a critical drinker or a neurotic, to see the movie, and then they give their stamp of approval on it, and they'll go see it. Or like a normie, their coworker, man, that was a great movie. Oh, okay. And then they hear it from a friend. Oh, okay, and they'll go see it. A really good example of that, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It did not have a good opening weekend. It was very subpar. I think it opened lower than Ant-Man. I'm not sure about that, but it was being compared to Ant-Man. And, of course, Ant-Man crashed and burned. What saved Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was word of mouth because it had legs. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was in theaters for a while, and it kept making money every weekend. And that's because more and more people saw it, and more people told their friends, coworkers, family, yeah, it's good. Go see it. And they did. People are waiting for people they trust to stamp a movie with approval. I really do believe that, and it explains a lot about what's going on now. Wonka might have good word of mouth. I haven't seen too many people shitting on it, so maybe this movie could walk and run at the end, but time will tell. As of right now, that's not happening. The Wonka box office is not looking at all that good, as it is projected to open at the low end of the box office estimates, which means the film will need legs to be a success. The film, at a cost of $125 million plus marketing, says to me that this movie might be able to make some of its money back. These studios need to give access to anybody willing to review their stuff that has a platform instead of just always going to the same shills, because they don't help sell movies. They don't. When you get like a Scott Mendelson in to see your movie early and they put a stamp of approval on it, it maybe brings like 10 people to the theaters. No one gives a shit what Scott Mendelson thinks about a movie. This is a big problem with the industry. Big problem. They only give people that suck their ass access to their movies, and that's a big problem in itself that no one really talks about. But in the age of word of mouth, which is what we're in, you need as many people to see these movies and get reviews out there as possible. People that actually have like audiences that trust them and tune in. Like every studio should give Critical Drinker a screener and beg him to watch a movie early to give it a review. Because if he puts a stamp of approval on a movie like a week before it, that would help. But it's not just him. You need to do it with a lot of channels like him. And I think that would help a little. Let's get people that are on the fence about things into theaters too. But what do I know? Wonka is currently estimated to open about 35 million. Depp's flick opened to over 56 million back in 2005, which is a hell of a lot bigger than 35 million with inflation, which in today's dollars is 87 million. So there's a huge difference. Wonka opened with 3.5 million from Thursday previews. So with the 35 million possible opening weekend, this is looking like another flick where word of mouth will kill it or save it. That seems to be the norm as of late. Many movie openings have been lukewarm or downright bombs compared to previous openings. It's only if the flicks have long legs that it'll be a success. Godzilla word of mouth Godzilla -1 is very much benefiting from word of mouth. It gets more theaters every weekend. That movie will make money every weekend if Toho lets it sit in theaters, because the more people that see that and praise it, the better. That movie can end up making a shitload of money because I think people are going to keep going to see it over and over again. I would love to see it again, but if I'm going to pay to see that movie again, I want to see it in an IMAX. And I was going to go see it, but they pulled it from IMAX at the theater that was a reasonable driving distance for me. They pulled it from the IMAX to put that stupid Beyonce concert in it, which made less money than Godzilla -1, which was hilarious to me because it's like, so you pulled a movie that would have packed the house and instead put a movie that sold less in there because of your stupid way of thinking that she was going to drive people into the theaters when you should have kept the Japanese movie in there. And that's why they pulled it. Oh, no one's going to come see this. They're going to come see the Beyonce movie. That's the kind of dumb thinking that these theater owners operate under, and it's why they lose money sometimes. So, I didn't get to go see it again because I've already seen it. I've seen it in a nice theater. It just wasn't an IMAX. So I've already seen it in a nice theater with Dolby Atmos, and it was great. It was an experience. But I'd really love to see it on an IMAX screen, and because it would be different. It'd be on an IMAX screen, but unless they put it back in there, I don't know. And I'm sure like this weekend, this movie is going to be in the IMAXs. So it sucks. I wish I could have seen it in IMAX, but this isn't the last bad story for Warner Brothers either. Why I say they're having a bad weekend is because, Jason Momoa comes out, blasts Aquaman, basically says it's not looking too good for the future of Aquaman. You know why that is? Because the movie comes out next week and nobody's buying tickets. This is from the Disc Father. This movie opens in 7 days and not a single ticket has been sold for Friday or Saturday night. And look at this. This is going to go into IMAXs and all kinds of bullshit next week. And you can put Godzilla -1 in there, and no one's going to go see it. No one's going to go see it. Now, this person is claiming their theater is packed, and it does look packed. So, who knows? It's still up in the air, but I don't think this movie is going to do good. I think Aquaman 2 is going to flop big time. I think this is probably going to be the biggest flop of the year, to be honest. The actor admitted that he has doubts about future films with the DC superhero since James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC Studios. And he's not trashing the film, right? He's just talking about the fact that no one's going to go see it. I think he had this idea when they announced Amber Heard was coming back. This is why I believe those rumors that he was dressing up as Johnny Depp and screwing with Amber Heard on set, because she's going to weigh the movie down. It was such a stupid decision to bring her back for this movie when you could have just wrote her out. You wouldn't even have to address it. You could have just told the same story without her. The baby's already born. Oh, she's in the hospital. You could have done that. We don't need to see her. She's too messed up from childbirth. But no, we're going to put her in the movie. We're going to stick to our guns. Oh, damn trolls are not going to tell us what to do. And now they're going to lose shitloads of money because this movie, I bet you they're not even telling the truth about the budget of this movie because it's been reshot so many times. All those different endings they shot and different scenes they reshot. Like, this movie has probably like 50% reshoots. This movie was expensive as fuck. So this movie is going to be probably just as much of a flop financially as the Marvels. That's my guess. This movie probably costs more than the Marvels. I don't know. But he's out there saying the truth is, I mean, if the audience love it, then there's a possibility, Momoa said, of the possibility to play Aquaman again. But right now, I'm like, it's not looking too good. You know why it's not looking too good? Because of the box office. If there's a place in their world for me, I would love to be part of it, Momoa said. This is my home. Warner DC is definitely my home, so that's all I'll say. That was in a response to him playing a different comic book character, which he 100% is doing. He's going to play Lobo. They've already kind of leaked and teased that, and I 100% believe that that's true. He would make a perfect Lobo. He looks like Lobo, even as Aquaman. Like, in his face, it has the possibility of being one of the better superhero castings. Like, he was born to play Lobo. I think that would be great. So, that's actually a much better place for him, and I think they could make a much better movie with him as Lobo in either somebody else's movie or as his own movie. But I think it would be better to put him in another movie as a villain and then transition him to a solo movie. I think that would work better because Lobo can be an anti-hero too. So you do him as a villain in a movie, he's got a bounty or something, and that way he's kind of just a working villain, and then you put him in his own movie. Done. That would work. We'll see if that happens. But, man, did a video the other day talking about how there's a strong possibility that Warner Brothers Studios could go bankrupt. And then you see 2 more bombs for them. Wonka's a bomb, and this is about to be a bomb. It's not good for them at all. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.